In this video, we'll explore toolkits designed for public administrations on how to organize participatory and deliberative processes in collaboration with civil society organizations, involving groups that are often underserved and underrepresented. A participatory process aims to involve citizens and stakeholders in a broad manner, gathering points of view, needs, and proposals that are useful for guiding public decisions. A deliberative process, on the other hand, is based on the selection of a smaller group, called upon to engage in in-depth and structured discussion with the aim of formulating shared recommendations or decisions. We can distinguish between them: top-down processes, promoted and managed by public administrations, and bottom-up processes, organized and managed by civil society organizations. A key aspect is to involve underserved and unrepresented people or communities. The first are people who do not receive adequate support from public policies to exercise their citizenship rights. Unemployed people, those in precarious jobs, those with care responsibilities, with language barriers, or with disabilities. The latter are people not recognized as stakeholders in the public debate, such as certain age groups or gender groups, migrants, homeless people, asylum seekers, and stateless persons. To build an accessible process, it is essential to identify which groups are normally excluded and the cause of their exclusion, using an intersectional analysis. It is useful to activate local alliances, collaborating with figures already rooted in the community, mapping stakeholders, creating structured spaces for dialogue, valuing partners' expertise, and promoting shared training opportunities. Once alliances are established, the process can be co-designed with key actors by defining objectives and priority topics, who to involve, timelines, incentives and support, methods and tools, expected results and monitoring, as well as financial, logistic, and human resources. The process must be communicated in an inclusive way, co-designing messages with community representatives, using different channels, translating materials, complementing digital communication with a physical presence, avoiding stereotypes, building trust through direct content and reference figures, and monitoring effectiveness to remove barriers to participation. We can provide financial support, logistical assistance, care support, and communication and cultural meditation. In deliberative assemblies, it's useful to use oversampling, that is, selecting a greater number of people from unrepresented groups from the outset. It is essential to maintain constant contact with those involved, monitoring their attendance over time and understanding any absences or dropouts. Once the process is underway, it is crucial to ensure that participation remains truly inclusive. The first step is to recognize power dynamics that may emerge and impact participation, and to implement facilitation strategies that help balance these dynamics. Facilitators play a key role. They must be skilled professionals, but also trained on the specific context, the topics addressed, social inequalities, and possible asymmetries that may arise. People participate better when they're able to understand and contribute. For this reason, it is useful to offer learning opportunities on the issue being discussed. For example, introductory workshops, civic literacy courses, in-depth discussions with experts, testimonials, multilingual information materials, peer exchange, and online platforms. All materials and activities must be made understandable and accessible by providing translations and interpretation, offering documents written in clear, non-technical language, sending presentations in advance, having texts reviewed by community representatives, creating tools to report language difficulties, using diverse formats, and involving and training people with life experiences similar to those of participants. The venue also impacts participation. It is important to choose non-institutional spaces already frequented by the community that are physically accessible, with areas for informal moments, with food, drinks, and cultural mediators. Sign language interpretation should be provided, and for online or hybrid processes, simple platforms should be chosen with captioning or interpretation. Meetings should be managed inclusively, setting shared rules from the start, working in careful composed small groups, using accessible technologies, applying conflict management techniques, allowing individual or paired moments for those who need time to reflect, rotating groups, and jointly discussing any biases that emerge. Participatory and deliberative processes should not be occasional initiatives, but integrated into the ordinary functioning of the political and administrative system. Action can be taken both at the national or supranational level with the participation law and at the regional or municipal level with specific regulations or resolutions. A good public policy on participation should include structural funding, dedicated administrative units, public accountability tools, access to information, ongoing staff training, and a monitoring system. Institutionalization requires effective monitoring before, during, and after the process to assess whether it's working, whether objectives are being met, and what impacts it generates. In summary, building inclusive participatory and deliberative processes requires using concrete and accessible tools, building strong alliances with communities, ensuring structural resources and institutional continuity, and committing to the long term. Above all, it requires valuing participation as an essential democratic practice capable of producing fairer, more effective, and more widely shared policies. This was only a summary. You can download the toolkits and find more information on the official Get Cohesive project website.